The NES Zapper, the first step toward interactive gameplay. The NES Zapper was one of the earliest gaming accessories to make players move. Released in 1984 alongside the Nintendo Entertainment System, it looked like a simple toy gun but changed gaming forever. Using light detection technology, it could sense where you aimed on the TV screen. When you fired at ducks in Duck Hunt, the game flashed white squares where the targets were. The Zapper's sensor could detect those flashes and register a hit if you aimed correctly. For the first time, your body movements influenced what happened on screen. It turned gaming into an active experience rather than a passive one. Kids waved the gun at the TV, laughed, shouted, and competed. This early experiment paved the way for motion-based gaming decades later. Everything from the Wii Remote to VR shooters can trace their roots back to this little gray and orange gun. The Rumble Pak, the birth of haptic feedback. When Nintendo launched the Rumble Pak in 1997 for the N64, it completely changed how games felt. It was a small accessory that plugged into the controller and made it vibrate whenever something happened in the game, like a crash in Star Fox 64 or an explosion in GoldenEye 007. This may sound simple now, but it was revolutionary then. For the first time, your hands could feel what was happening on screen. It made every hit, crash, or explosion immersive. The Rumble Pak introduced haptic feedback to mainstream gaming, and today it's a standard feature. Sony's DualShock controllers, Xbox gamepads, and even the PS5 DualSense's adaptive triggers all evolved from this idea. What started as a small add-on became the foundation for tactile immersion in gaming. The Guitar Hero controller, turning players into rock stars. In 2005, Guitar Hero introduced a new kind of gaming experience. Instead of pressing buttons on a regular controller, you played music using a guitar-shaped controller with 5 colored fret buttons, a strum bar, and a whammy lever. The moment you hit your first notes on Smoke on the Water, you didn't feel like a gamer. You felt like a performer. This accessory broke boundaries. It brought gaming into living rooms, bars, and parties. Friends and families who had never picked up a controller before were suddenly competing on stage. Guitar Hero and Rock Band became cultural phenomena, merging music and gaming in a way that had never been done before. The guitar controller wasn't just an accessory, it was an instrument that made millions fall in love with rhythm games and music creation. The Wii Remote, the motion control revolution. In 2006, Nintendo changed everything again with the Wii Remote. While other consoles focused on better graphics and power, the Wii focused on motion. The Wii Remote could detect direction, tilt, and acceleration. Swing it like a tennis racket, roll a bowling ball, or slice with a sword. It turned your physical movement into in-game action. It was simple, social, and incredibly fun. Kids, parents, and even grandparents could play. Wii Sports became a global hit because it made gaming physical and approachable. The Wii Remote proved that intuitive motion could appeal to everyone, not just traditional gamers. Its success inspired the Xbox Kinect, PlayStation Move, and modern VR controllers. The Kinect, gaming without a controller. When Microsoft released the Kinect for Xbox 360 in 2010, it felt like the future had arrived. The Kinect used cameras, infrared sensors, and microphones to detect full-body movement and voice commands. Players didn't need to hold anything, your body was the controller. You could jump, kick, and wave your arms to play sports games, or use voice commands like Xbox, Play Movie. It was futuristic and instantly iconic. The Kinect became one of the fastest-selling tech products in history. And even though it eventually faded from gaming, its technology lived on. It was later used in robotics, 3D mapping, and even hospitals for motion tracking and rehabilitation therapy. The Kinect showed that gaming innovation could impact far beyond the living room. PlayStation VR, bringing virtual reality to the living room. Sony brought VR into the mainstream with the release of PlayStation VR in 2016. It connected directly to the PlayStation 4, letting millions experience immersive virtual worlds without a high-end PC. Players could explore haunted houses in Resident Evil 7, or float through space in Astrobot Rescue Mission. The headset tracked your head movements while the Move controllers acted as your hands. For the first time, console gamers could step inside their games. It was an emotional and immersive leap. More than just playing, you could be there. PSVR proved that VR wasn't just a gimmick. It opened the door to today's next-generation headsets like Meta Quest 3 and Apple Vision Pro. The DualSense controller, the future of touch. With the PlayStation 5, Sony took immersion even further with the DualSense controller. It didn't just rumble, it communicated. The adaptive triggers could change resistance based on what you were doing. Drawing a bowstring felt tight. Pressing a gas pedal felt smooth. Combined with advanced haptic feedback, you could feel everything from footsteps to raindrops. The DualSense transformed the controller into an extension of the game world. It's a sensory experience that goes beyond visuals and sound. Developers now design specific tactile effects into their games, making this one of the most advanced controllers ever created. It's proof that the future of gaming isn't just about what you see, it's about what you feel. The Dreamcast VMU. The original second screen Sega's Dreamcast launched in 1999 with one of the most creative accessories ever, the Visual Memory Unit, or VMU. It was a small memory card with its own screen and buttons that could be removed from the controller. In Sonic Adventure, you could raise virtual pets on the VMU like mini Tamagotchis. In NFL 2K, it showed secret play options only you could see. This was an early version of second screen gaming, long before smartphones and tablets made it mainstream. The VMU was ahead of its time and didn't reach full potential, but its concept predicted the connected ecosystems we now have across multiple devices. The Game Boy camera, the first portable digital camera released in 1998. The Game Boy camera was a quirky but brilliant invention. It turned your Game Boy into one of the world's first portable digital cameras. You could take photos, edit them, add pixel art, and even print them using the Game Boy printer. It gave kids creative power long before smartphones. It blurred the line between gaming and photography, encouraging self-expression. The Game Boy camera even holds a Guinness World Record as the smallest digital camera in the world. Its playful design and creativity-focused features made it a unique accessory that still inspires digital creators today. The Power Glove, a brilliant failure that inspired the future. No list is complete without the infamous Power Glove. Released in 1989 for the NES, it was a wearable controller that let players control games with hand gestures. You could punch, point, or wave, and the glove would try to translate your movement into on-screen actions. Unfortunately, the technology wasn't ready. It was inaccurate and clunky. But despite being a commercial flop, it became a cultural icon. It represented the dream of immersive control long before VR or motion tracking existed. Today's VR gloves and haptic wearables are direct descendants of that vision. The Power Glove failed in sales but succeeded in inspiration. It showed developers what gaming could become. If you enjoyed learning about these dark and shocking tortured devices from the time of the Black Death, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss our next upload.